Hi guys, hello, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to talk about ADISURC, or that of Adisur Campania. So it's basically a fully funded regional scholarship for students going to universities in the Campania region. If you're new here, hi, hello, thank you for chancing upon my channel. Please do ensure to subscribe. Thank you so much. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your constant support. Now let's get right into it. Who can apply bachelor's, master's, PhD specialization programs and other programs in AFAM institutions? Let's talk about the universities, some of the universities and AFAM institutions featured. So that of the University of Sannio in Benevento, that of the University of Naples, Federico II, that of the University of Naples, Orientale, that of the University of Naples, Parthenope, that of the University of Salerno, that of the University of Campania, Luigi Vanvitelli, that of the University of Naples, Suo or Sola, Benincasa, and that of AFAM institutions in the Campania region. Let's talk about the general scholarship benefits. So it comes with stipends, accommodation, daily meals, international mobility, and the possibility of tuition reduction. Let's talk about the merit requirement. So for that of first years, okay, the calculation is actually done ex post. Okay, so during the first period of the payment of the scholarship, the amount is going to be given, based on the economic condition of the student, okay, the student's family. But then subsequently, credits will be required from the student, okay, and then the student will need to be able to make, the first student will need to be able to make 20 university credits by that of 10th of August 2025. If the student doesn't make by this deadline, is extended to that of 30th of November 2025. But then take note, if you don't make it by this deadline, that of August, and it's extended to this deadline, you actually lose reapplying for the scholarship, okay, for the second year. So please take note of that. Now let us talk about merit requirements for subsequent years, okay. So you can see here, students enrolled in type A programs, type B programs. Okay, so this is type A, is basically students going for bachelor programs, and type B is that of students going for master's program. Okay, that of students going for type A 3-year bachelor's degree, they need 25 credits and a successful completion of any training required for admission to the course if enrolled in the second year. They need 80 credits if enrolled in the third year, and then they need 135 credits if enrolled in additional semesters. Okay, if enrolled in type A single cycle degree programs, they need 25 credits and the successful completion of any training required for admission to the course, that is if they are enrolled in the second year. And then 185, they need 80 credits if enrolled in the third year. They need 135 credits if enrolled in the fourth year, 190 if enrolled in the fifth year, 245 if enrolled in the sixth year, and that of 55 credits more than the number expected for the last year of the course if enrolled in additional semesters. Students going for that of master's degree, they need 30 credits if enrolled in the second year, and then they need 80 credits if enrolled for the additional semester. And all of this needs to be gotten by that of 10th of August 2024. This August is past. Okay, so but then the credit needs to have been gotten by this deadline. Take note of that. And for students applying for type C program, that of PhD programs, that of specialization schools, take note, for applying for the scholarship or for that of the renewal, the eligibility and position within the ranking are determined solely on the basis of economic requirements. Okay, now let us talk about economic requirements. So students participating for this scholarship need to present in an ESL or not exceeding 25,500 euros, and then that of the properties and assets value not exceeding that of 54,000 euros. Important, let us talk about important notice. Okay, so for you to actually transmit this scholarship application, what you need to know is it is allowed to participate even before being enrolled at the university. Okay, but then you need to be able to enroll at the universities in this region by that of 20th of September 2024. Now let us talk about scholarship amounts. The students are divided into 3 categories: that of non-resident, commuter, and that of resident students. Okay, so as you guys know, I always focus on non-resident students, but then if you're a commuter and resident student, please look at the amounts that will be given to you. So a non-resident that actually do present an ESER, that is 2/3 of the threshold, which is 25,500 euros. That is, they are presenting an ESER of 12,750 euros, will get 15% increment of the scholarship, and they will be getting 8,068.37 euros. Okay, and then a non-resident student that should present an ESER of up to 17,000 euros will be getting 7,015.97 euros. This is the 100% of the scholarship, okay, amount, and that is if they are presenting 2/3 of the threshold. If a non-resident student presents an ESER of 19,883.33, they'll be getting 6,173.98. If they should present an ESER of 22,666.67, they'll be getting that of 5,331.99 euros. If they should present an ESER up to 25,500 euros, the amount is going to be gradually reduced, so they get that of 4,490 euros. Now let us talk about conditions for increment and decrement. So just like I spoke about initially, 15% increment for those presenting an ESER that is half of the threshold. Increase by 40% if the student has recognized disability. Increase recognized disability greater than 66%. It's going to be increased by 20% if the student is a female student enrolled in STEM programs. Okay, it's going to be increased by 20% if the student enrolls simultaneously in 2 course programs. Okay, it's going to be increased by 50% if the assignee obtains the degree, a master's degree, within the duration provided for by the respective educational systems. The amount is going to be reduced by 50% if the assignee is enrolled in additional semester. Okay, the amount is going to be reduced by 50% if the assignee enrolled for the first year and fails to obtain the 20 credits by that of 10th of August 2025, but then before 30th of November 2025. The amount is going to be automatically reduced by the amount corresponding to the value of the services used by the applicant. Okay, so that of accommodation and canteen services will be deducted, and then the amount is going to automatically reduce by the sum owed to the agency by applicants for any reason, that of withdrawal, damages, and all other instances. Now let us talk about documents required. Okay, the documents required for that of international students or that of students that have household resident abroad is that of the ESER UP. But then for the calculation of the ESER UP, students are supposed to present that of their family composition certificate, that of the income of their family unit, that of properties and assets, that of movable and immovable assets, and also any rental costs incurred for the residents of their household. The year required is that of 2022. For that of income and all of that, the year required is that of 2022. Then take note, lack of income must be specified in the document. Okay, and that of buildings, it should cover the year 2022 to that of 31st of December of 2022. Okay, so take note, applicants with household residents abroad must send to the ADISURC board no later than 31st of March 2025, and under penalty of exclusion, a copy of the equivalent ESER UP completed at the CAF offices. Okay, and in one of the following ways referred to in Article 5. Okay, so you're supposed to request for the ADISURC, you transmit it to them, and then present it to them. You're supposed to get the documents from the authorities in your home country, and then you present it to the CAF for the calculation of the ADISURC, and you're going to transmit the documents to the ADISURC body. Okay, take note, the payment of any scholarship funds will be suspended until the equivalent ADISURC is received. Okay, applicants from particularly poor countries with a household resident in the said country can just go to that of the Italian embassy in their whole country for the generation of a document which they are going to use for that of the application. Okay, so the Italian embassy will state that they are not known to belong to that of a family with a high economic standard or income, and then that is the document that the student is going to use for the application. Also, for those coming in from poor developing countries, they are still required, okay, to complete the online application form and send a copy of the ADISURC no later than 31st of March 2025. Now let us talk about documents required for that of students coming in for PhD. So previously, what we mentioned previously is that for students coming in for bachelors and masters. Okay, but then for applicants coming for doctoral research studies, what is required of them is that of nucleo ristretto. Okay, that of the restricted household document. Okay, so it's basically like a form of ADISURC, but then in this instance they are not required by force to add their income to that of their family members, and they are not required by force to declare their external family. Okay, so here you can see this document consists solely of the actual applicant, their spouse, and any children under the age of 18 and other children who are financially dependent. Submission of documents. Okay, so take note that the application form contains all the information required from the applicant, your personal details, payment details, etc., including qualifications and income details. But then, pursuant to Articles 6 and 48 of the Legislative Decree number 82 of 7th March 2005, applicants must declare their certified email address when submitting the online application. If you want to communicate with them, the following circumstances governed by this call must be documented by sending documentation to the agency: that of applicants from particularly poor or developing countries, applicants with disability, and then applicants that are presenting that of the ADISURC. Okay, so for these students, they can send an email to ADISURC. Okay, send an email directly to their PEC email address. But then what you need to take note of, for you to send documents and everything to their PEC email address, you will also have to be sending from a PEC email address, which is written here. Okay, and the communication needs to come from a PEC to another PEC. And then one will ask, okay, what is this PEC email address? Okay, so this is an email address that is legally binding. Okay, when you send an email from this address to their PEC address, they are required by law to respond to you within a stipulated deadlines. Okay, so because of that, how do you get the PEC? You can get it online through the companies offering it. So you get it, and then you're going to use in transmitting information to the regional body. And then take note, there are a high number of a high volume of messages that go through the normal email address of the regional body. So for this PEC address, it gives you priority when you send it to their PEC email address instead of their normal email address. It gives you priority. They are able to respond within their stipulated time frame. So that is what you need to know. So you can either send them communication through either their PEC email address or by logging into the internet portal with the credentials issued during the validation phase and attaching in the appropriate section the scanned document duly signed, which is referred above here. Okay, so that's what you need to take note of. Now let us talk about notice to students with private housing. Applicants not housed, okay, in university accommodation who intend to apply as non-resident students must prove their status through a lease contract with a duration of at least 10 months between 1st of October 2024 to that of 30th of September 2025, submitted in writing and registered with the revenue agency. Okay, so the contract must not be sent to the agency. Okay, rather applicants must self-certify the data of the contract in the online application form, in which the candidate must declare the contract identification details, the registration data with the revenue agency, the period of validity of the lease. Okay, what you're also supposed to know is you're going to be referred as commuter until you send in the documents to them. Take note, non-resident status will be verified, okay, by ADISURC with the revenue agency. Okay, they're going to verify everything, and then if it comes out negative, you're going to lose being considered as a non-resident. Rather, you're going to be assigned commuter. So please take note of this. Let us talk about publication of rankings. The provisional ranking list will be published exclusively on the ADISURC website by 31st of October 2024. So be on the lookout for that. After that, 7 days, okay, 7 days is given for that of corrections, contacting them for needed corrections, changes, and all of that. Okay, so the definitive rankings will be out on 31st, by that of 31st of December 2024, and then the conclusive rankings with all needed corrections and all of that will be completely out. Also verification procedures and everything being done will be out by 30th of April 2025. Let us move on to grounds for scholarship revocations. Do take note, applicants who are not enrolled in a course of study as indicated, I spoke to you about, you should be enrolled by that of September. Okay, so I mentioned to you earlier, if you don't, you're going to be excluded. Applicants who have already obtained a university degree, okay, which is of the same level as the one they are requesting to be supported for the scholarship. Okay, and then applicants who have already obtained, in case of university program change, a scholarship for the same year of a course of which application is made under this call. Applicants who, as a result of change university program, are enrolled for a second time in the first year of a course of study of the same type as the course from which they originate. Applicants enrolled for the academic year 2024-2025 as repeat students or supplementary intermediate year, okay, or supplementary final year, or program suspended status. Applicants not fulfilling the merit and economic requirements referred to as we're speaking about. Applicants who are simultaneously enrolled in another degree course and fall within one of the combinations not allowed by this call. Okay, applicants whose single personal declaration for easier purposes is not completed as required by this call. Applicants who have not completed the online application form in the manner stipulated in this call document. Applicants who have made mistakes in completing the online application form, thereby preventing retrieval of data from the IMS and the university archives, as well as documentation from the certifying administrations, and subsequently the electronic processing of the rankings. Applicants who have not submitted the documentation provided, okay, applicants subject to application of the penalty referred to in Article 10, okay, in instances where the students made false declarations and all of that. You can check out the other conditions as well. Let us talk about how to apply. So for you to apply, you basically have to go to the ADISURC website, okay, Adisur Campania website, and then you register and you fill in the application, following the directive, the guidelines, and everything, ensuring that you fill everything correctly, and then you send the application by that of the deadline of 23rd of September 2024. Okay, don't worry, I'm going to make a video guide to assist you in the application. Now let us talk about deadlines. The 10th of August 2024 is the deadline for subsequent year students and that of a first year student who enrolled last year to achieve the merit requirement. 23rd of September 2024 is the mandatory deadline for transmission of the request to participate in the call for applications, and then deadline for submitting documentation providing the following status: stateless students, applicants from particularly poor countries, and then applicants with a disability. 31st of October 2024 is the deadline for the publication of provisional rankings. 7 days following approval of the provisional rankings, that is, where you make needed corrections and all of that. 15th of November 2024 is the deadline of receipt for IBAN code under penalty of inability to make payments to recipient applicants. 31st of December 2024 is the deadline for payment of the original fee for applicants who enroll in the course of study following the transfer from other institutions. And then that of the deadline by which applicants who enroll in a course of study at one of the above mentioned higher institutions following transfer from another higher institution are required to complete the online application, acquire an application for participating in the OSA of origin. Then that of the deadline for the publication of the definitive rankings is also the deadline within which 50% of the deposit is going to be paid to candidates, who are beneficiaries of the scholarship. 31st of March 2025 is the deadline which the non-resident applicants in possession of a lease expiring after the competition deadline and whose validity period does not cover 10 months in the period of 1st of October 2024 to 30th of September 2025 must self-certify a new contract or extension of the expired contracts using the online form. And then it's also the deadline by which applicants with a household resident abroad must submit to the ADISURC body a copy of the certified university UP completed at the CAF office. 30th of April 2025 is the deadline for publication of conclusive rankings. 30th of June 2025 is that of the deadline within which 50% of the deposit is paid to all candidates. 10th of August 2025 is the deadline by which applicants enrolled in the first year, with the exception of students having a disability of not less than 66%, must achieve 20 credits in order to qualify for 100% of the scholarship awarded. Then 30th of November 2025 is the deadline by which applicants enrolled in the first year, with the exception of students having a disability of not less than 66%, must achieve 20 credits in order to preserve the right to receive 50% of the scholarship and not be subject to withdrawal. Then the variable is between August and December 2025, deadline within which 50% of the deposit is paid to all candidates enrolled in the first year if they already achieve the 20 credits required, and if they are beneficiaries of the scholarship and not suspended in the ranking in compliance with the communication of the IBAN code. So guys, we've come to the end of this video. If you found value in it, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'm so excited for you guys. I'm wishing you guys the very best, and I'm going to see you in another scholarship video. Bye.